Good evening, Dr. Barak. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's night here in Pakistan, but you switched your clock 1 hour before, so it's 7 o'clock in Israel. It's
Yes,
evening.
exactly. Yes. I would like to take the opportunity to bless the Pakistani people. I know now that it's now the Mawlid al-Nabi,
Yeah.
Salih alayhi wasalam, and I wish that this blessing month, this blessing day that will bring joy and peace and prosperity and health to all the Pakistani people. So I
Thank you.
wish you
Thank you.
Mawlid al-Nabi Mabruk.
Thank you. Thank you. Means a lot for us. Means a lot for us. And our prayers and good wishes for you and all people living there. We see them live their happy lives with peace, and we wish you with good health, especially the corona pandemic is there and people are suffering from that. And we pray in this holy month, on this holy occasion of birth of Prophet, that, because we believe that prophets are messenger of peace and love. So we would pray that peace and love should prevail everywhere, everywhere,
Inshallah.
inshallah. And today's topic is very interesting. It's about cyber terrorism.
Yes, it's a very hot topic, and it's an increasing phenomena that is worrying a lot of factors around the world. Uh, if so, cyber terrorism. Actually, let's divide the term. The definition of terrorism, of course, is an act of violence against civilians in order to achieve political goals. So cyber is another arena that is being used by terrorists like ISIS, Al Qaeda, Hamas, and other terrorist organizations who are interested to exploit cyber. What is cyber? It means computers, internet, um, communication networks. They are trying to exploit these arena, these computers in order to hack into systems of governments, of civilians. They are trying to generate intimidation, to make fear, and there are many uses of the internet and cyber. For example, one of the main, let's say, the main threats by exploiting the internet is to steal also information, to hack into banks, to hack into hospitals, for example, to change the records inside hospitals, and to even by changing the records in the hospitals, patients can get a wrong treatment and can die because of that. So these terrorists are aimed to create panic and to make as much as to create damage and destruction in a large scale. So, for example, they can also hack into aviation system. For example, if in the airplane, we know that in aeroplanes there is a opportunity to watch a movie. Some of depends what is the length of the flight. So there were attempts by terrorists to hack into these small screens in the aeroplane in order to reach to the pilot cabin, in order to change the flight course and to make the aeroplane to crash. But luckily it was prevented. So these terrorists are also trying, for example, to hack also into cars. In cars, we know we have a GPS in our cars, for example.
Yeah.
So if a tourist is able to control the driving of the car, it can make the car lose its speed or to high its speeds and to make the car to crash inside something and to bring to a car accident. So there are many options that the terrorist can think how to create damage by hacking into systems. For example, now because the globe becomes smart, it became a small village. Many systems are connected to the internet, and as more as technological as the world becomes, the more dangerous it becomes, because the governments and the organization need to protect and defend on the systems from hacking. So in let's say that in few years, in every home, there are going to be a smart kitchen or a smart saloon. This is what we call the Internet of the Things. For example, if we have a refrigerator in our kitchen and we are found in work, and we can send a message to the refrigerator when we are working, please cool the system to this temperature and etc. So hackers, terrorists can hack inside this system, and they can change the temperature of the refrigerator and bring it to a total destruction of the refrigerator, and then to burn up all the flat. Like they have, unfortunately, they have a very bad imagination how to create this panic. So there are let's say that another threat is also that there is a possibility that these terrorists can hack to electricity, they can hack to water, and this can, if they manage to do that, they can bring a catastrophe.
Or the railway system.
What?
Or the railway system, train system.
Train system?
The railway.
Yes, also the railway. Yes, the railway they also can hack, but the organization and the governments are taking security measures and are trying to defend this system by antivirus programs, software, and they are having a creative solution how to cope with that. Until now, luckily, there were not successful attempts to do that. Some analysts think that it's not a question if it will be, when it will be. It will be, but we don't know when, because it takes a lot of time. Usually governments, and not terrorist organizations, governments have the ability to hack to these systems, but they are also not successful on that. For example, Iran tried to hack into the water system of Israel, and it failed. Israel is a leading cyber nation, and we have good brains that know how to defend our systems, and luckily Israel prevented from Iranian hacking into the water system of Israel. But Iran is, for example, is supporting a terrorist organization like Hezbollah. So Hezbollah, for example, has more technological ability than ISIS or Al-Qaeda, for example, because it's been supported by government. But ISIS and Al-Qaeda, they are found in a process of permanent learning. They are studying. They are translating manuals that are found in the internet, manuals that are teaching you how to hack. So they are taking English manuals and they translate it to Arabic or to even Urdu and other languages in order to teach also the young generation how to hack. And Al-Qaeda also, and also ISIS, call to the young generation, the next front is the cyber arena. We have to focus on the cyber arena because it doesn't take a lot of efforts and energy. We just, by clicking on the keyboard, then we are able to cause damage. So also Al Qaeda in the Arab Peninsula published several films who put emphasis on this importance, the importance of the cyber, that there is a permission to hack into bank accounts in the United States to steal money, or to that there is a fatwa that is allowing that, and to make confusion, to take money and to spread it in other accounts, to create panic, to take control on traffic lights, for example, to make and by the way, Al Qaeda and ISIS, they have also online academy. Also Hamas, the Palestinian Hamas, they have online academy which they are teaching how to hack. You need a special password. You need the permission from in order to get inside these forums and these courses, online courses, and in the same time, Al Qaeda and ISIS are trying also to hire hackers, for example, from Russia or from India. There were attempts to hire hackers that they will do the dirty jobs. So this is a very wide phenomenon, and I mentioned only one aspect of this cyber terrorism. So one aspect, as I mentioned, is the offensive aspect, to hack into system and to cause damage. Another aspect is the psychological warfare. Today, because of social media networks, terrorist organizations have more options. They have an ability to reach to more people, to a wide audience, and to spread their propaganda. So they are using a psychological warfare to spread fake news. And for example, I think it was 6 years ago or 7, ISIS managed to hack into the Twitter account of the White House in United States, and they put there a statement which claimed that Obama was assassinated. And people believe that, and because of that, the stocks decreased. The economy was damaged, and after several hours, the White House published a new statement that this was an attempt by ISIS to penetrate. Yes, it was ISIS to hack to the White House Twitter account, and this was a fake news. So they fixed it. So we see that the attempts to hack Al Qaeda and ISIS are able to hack to Facebook or Twitter accounts, but luckily they are not. They have not proved that they have the ability to hack into infrastructure system and to make such a huge damage. Luckily, so we have a psychological warfare. Also, Hezbollah, by the way, is spreading fake news about Israel. Al Qaeda, ISIS, the same. Another aspect is collecting, for example, information on targets. If now these terrorist organizations wants to assassinate someone or to target a location, they call to their supporters, please share your knowledge, share with us the knowledge about a specific target that we will be able to send someone to this location in order to kill it or to target. So the internet is a big, huge global academy online university, everything you can find on the internet. Another aspect, which I think is very also difficult for the security factors to monitor, but it takes time. So eventually, they are successful eventually, but it takes time. It's the issue of funding. Many terrorist organizations found out that it's very easy to collect money by using the internet. So, for example, we see that in Syria, in Idlib, in north of Syria, there are many jihadists, many terrorists who are exploiting the social media network and cyber, and they call to their supporters around the world, please donate money by donating Bitcoin. What is a Bitcoin? Bitcoin is a virtual coin, and you can contribute the money, Bitcoin or other crypto coin, by using encrypted software. It's difficult to locate the source of the source of the money, or who is the donator, but governments and security companies are having the tools to do that. It takes time, but the terrorist organization rely and think that it's more secure to collect money by the internet. So even Hamas, Izzadin al-Qassam, the military wing of Hamas, launched several times a campaign online calling to their supporters to donate money by giving Bitcoin. And also, by the way, the Houthis, who are the Houthis in Yemen that are supported by Iran, they also collected money by the internet, sent it to Hezbollah in Lebanon. So this is the issue. This is like cyber terrorism. It's you have these aspects, and you can find also. Yes, sorry.
I said it is quite difficult phenomena.
Yes.
It is not easy situation because as far as a layman I knew about the cyber warfare, we used to listen in news, and especially people here, they are talking about five, fifth generation war, hybrid war, and things like that. We could not able to understand what they are talking about. And the max we knew that Al Qaeda is using cyberspace for their propaganda, and the advancement we have witnessed that ISIS or Daesh, they started recruiting people, they started recruitment through the internet, and
Right.
this was the max I knew at least. And this whole phenomena which you explained, it is quite. And here I would like to just make two, three short comments to second your uh, introduction to cyber terrorism. That we have just 2 days before we have witnessed this propaganda campaign. Uh, as you know, that Pakistan falls in the grey list of FATF, and there was a consultation about or a regular meeting of FATF members. And before that meeting, there was a huge propaganda in Pakistan on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere that Saudi Arabia voted against Pakistan, which was not the matter, in fact. There was no voting at all in that session. But there was a massive propaganda on internet that Saudi Arabia voted against Pakistan. Saudi Arabia voted against Pakistan. And of course, this propaganda was not just like that. It was pre-planned propaganda. It was well-timed propaganda. And knowingly that there is some stress in Pakistan and Saudi Arab relations right now, for last few weeks, they propagated against Saudi Arabia, and they turned the opinion of common people against Saudi Arabia. And fortunately, the news came that there was no voting as such, and the propaganda was false. And second thing, uh, you talked about terror funding, online terror funding. And I was just thinking that Pakistan is one of those countries who banned virtual currency. In Pakistan, this is illegal to deal in virtual currency, in Bitcoin or any other virtual currency. And I guess this is one of the steps which Pakistan has taken against terrorism. And there are opinion that by banning virtual currency, Pakistan is doing something wrong with its economy. But I believe that if virtual currency is a source of terror financing or terror funding, then I guess countries should take good care of it.
Yeah, there are attempts to cope with this phenomena, especially with the funding. Eventually, the security factors are managed to reach to these people, but it takes time. Uh,
Mm,
Concerning your first point, that the cyber became an arena of spreading false news, there
mm,
are attempts by the Muslim world. For example, I can mention Al Azhar establishment in Egypt,
mm,
who is trying to cope with these fake news and to have to Al Azhar. I will say that Al Azhar in the last years he managed to establish a special unit that is
mm,
responsible on monitoring terrorist propaganda.
mm,
And for example, if ISIS is justifying killing women and children,
mm,
quoting from the Holy Quran, so Al Azhar is taking the same verse or taking several hadith and put it in the right context, saying
mm,
that ISIS managed to hijack Islam and to give a
mm,
false interpretation. Now, this unit inside the Lazar is 24/7 on the internet, on social media
mm,
networks, not only monitoring the propaganda material of ISIS and Al Qaeda, but also publishing counter narratives. It's very
mm,
important in order to delegitimize the narratives and the propaganda of the uh, enemy of ISIS.
mm,
So Elazar is doing this very good,
mm,
and I think it's very important to have a network, a religious
mm,
network that
mm,
um, know that Islam is a moderate religion, that Islam is
mm,
is uh, is ready to live in coexistence. This was in the
mm,
Ottoman times when the Turks lived in coexistence with Jews, Christians. So this religious network, I think, Muslim, should uh, create this mechanism to
mm,
create something that will be able to monitor this propaganda of this terrorist organization and to create counter narratives, to
mm,
explain to the young people that they should not follow after this false propaganda, because this
mm,
is what ISIS and Al Qaeda are trying to say. Al Qaeda and ISIS also are trying to demonize Muslim scholars, to say they are not familiar with Holy Quran and Hadith. This is propaganda. So I think a cooperation between religious Muslim scholars in Egypt, in Pakistan, in Tunisia, in Europe. If you have such a network, then you will be able to defeat this radical ideology, because you need a network to defeat this terrorist network. And then the young people will not follow after this false propaganda.
Yeah.
Education is very important. And young people like to use social media networks. So I think emphasis should be put inside the social media network as well. It's very important.
Mm. It's very important. I agree. I completely agree. And uh, on personal level and institutional level, Saluk, my organization, my think tank, has initiated a plan with the Sufi leaders around the globe. Uh, they formed a Saluk Sufi Council, which is now in 12 countries. Uh, and there are three layers they are creating now. Uh, One is the Sufi leadership, which is core of Sufi Council. Then there is a second layer, Imam Council, uh, imams who lead Juma prayer, at least, a council of those imams. And then there is a scholars council, council of scholars. In that council, the basic concept is to have scholars who have done their PhD on tasawwuf or Sufism.
Oh, nice.
Whether, yeah, whether they are Muslim, like they are Christians, they are Jewish, they are Hindus, but every single one who has done his PhD on Sufism or any aspect of Sufism, he is eligible to be the member of that council, and we would love to welcome him or her to be the member of that council as a as a scholar on Sufism. And these three different areas or different group of people, like Sufi Sheikh, Imam, and scholars, they all together form a platform where they can analyze things, where they can analyze situation, and they can jointly issue statements according to contemporary issues, situations, geopolitical issues, and propagandas like that. So we are stepping towards uh, that goal, but still, Saluk is a small organization. We are very limited with our uh, resources and exposure and vision and access. So we are trying our best towards the path of peace, and hopefully, I'm optimist person like you are. Hopefully, one day we will reach on a place where we can have a complete council of scholars, imams, and Sufi leaders, uh, which will guide the humanity towards a better path, towards to have a better approach, to have a polite approach, to have a rational approach. So,
Yeah, I'm sure that Saluk will become bigger. It's very important organization, and I think that Sufis have a major role in that, in reaching to a coexistence and um, to guide the people to the tenets of Islam, the right understanding. I'm sure the Sufis all along the history, Sufis have had a major role in that.
definitely. And of course, the counter of that cyber terrorism, as you suggested, that there there should be a counter propaganda campaign, a proper counter propaganda campaign. And I guess this is uh, very easy because the terrorists, they are propagating negatively, so they have to build an argument, they have to bring in logics behind their fake arguments, so logics are fake, so they are baseless. As they are baseless people, their argument is baseless, uh, uh, their so-called facts are baseless. But to counter those propaganda tactics, one should just need to bring the reality, one should bring the real history, one should bring the real context of history and uh, preachings of prophets, preachings of saints, preachings of holy people or the pious people. And I guess that is a great tool which can reassure the uh, coexistence, harmony, peace, and love towards society or the humankind.
Yes, I'm sharing the same thoughts as you. Yes, inshallah. I
And by the way, Dr. Barak, as we all know that in cybersecurity, when we start naming the countries by capacity or expertise, Israel ranks on first.
one of the first, I think so. I think yes. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the capabilities of Israel, but I know. Um, but yes, I know that it has high capabilities according to the newspapers, according to the startups that we have in Israel. So Israel is one of the leading cyber nations in the world.
And we are a growing country with the cyber technology and IT and information technology. I wonder if there is a way to collaborate among two nations to at least to make sure the cyber security.
If what? If there is,
If there is a collaboration or
yes,
a joint venture kind of thing between two countries to assure the cyber security, which is of course very important for us too. We need it.
yes, yes.
Yeah, we need it.
You know, it's
We
not only
always
for
talk about the cyber war. We always talk, yeah.
yeah, it's not only for security. It's also, for example, using cyber for agriculture. It's very important. How to use cyber for watering the ground. Now,
Yeah.
thanks God, we have Sudan, North Sudan, signed agreement with Israel. So now, Israeli cyber companies are going to share the knowledge, technological knowledge with Sudan in order to water the huge fields and ground of Sudan. So Israel did it for a long time and improved its technological tools. And
Mm.
I know that many African states are wishing to asking for the help of cyber Israeli companies in order to improve the ground. So it's also important, not only for security, but also, for to supply the basic needs of the population, water, even electricity, using the internet for I don't know. You only can imagine what.
Mm. Mm.
Security is also an important aspect in order to defend attempts by terrorist organizations to hack into these systems.
I guess on the other end, the uh, regardless of the cyber terrorism threats or the cyber warfare, uh, this IT or the cyber world is a blessing as well. Like I wonder, uh, you know me that I always talk about that. Still, there is need of a cyber space where we can create, or at least we can portray the real image of nations, that people can better understand one another.
Yes, you
There
mean
is
what?
a
Like
need.
you mean the joint platform in the internet that people from different countries will be able to discuss with each other?
Yeah, and I guess there should be, like, LinkedIn is there, Facebook is there, but they
Mm.
have a different style of operation. Like, Facebook is very casual, and
Mm.
LinkedIn is, it's extremely
More professional for.
dignified kind of platform.
Mm.
Yeah, more professional. It's extreme professional, by the way.
Mm.
So there should be a platform in between Facebook and LinkedIn,
Mm.
which is professional and on the same time a little frank, where people can talk to each other, share thoughts with each other. I guess there should be a platform. I wonder if someone is listening us and he or she might have the interest to develop a platform like that. It, I guess, it would be a great idea.
If there will be a platform for Pakistani and Israelis, it will be wonderful. Because as long as you don't know the other one, you can have a negative image maybe. But when you know the other guy, when you become to know him, then you become less suspicious and you understand that the reality is not black or white, and that you have a human being that
Yeah.
you can discuss with him, and you should check the facts, not follow after fake news or whatever. Yeah, I think it's important
And
to have this kind
sometimes
of.
we have to look back at, sometimes to create a better future, we have to ignore the harsh facts of the past as well. In the past,
Right.
there are many wars, like we fought with Russia in Afghanistan. Pakistan fought with Russia in Afghanistan. But it is a closed chapter of history now. To move on, we should foreseek peace with Russia. We should foreseek peace with every other country. Like, Pakistan is such a beautiful country and nation. Still, we have conflict with India. Still, we have a problem of Kashmir with India. Still, we had three, four times war with India. But people still want to negotiate their problems with India. They want it peacefully. They want a peaceful solution. And we, as a nation, we don't want a solution in battlefield. We want a solution on negotiation table. As a nation, we care about our kids, and we also care about their kids. We don't want to see kids suffering on the both sides of the border. We don't want to see it.
Right. Yeah,
And
this,
that's my genuine argument for every single country. When we are ready to talk with India, when we are ready to settle our issues with India on the table of negotiation, then in on the whole planet there is there should be one policy, like, go and talk,
yeah, yeah,
have
this
a
is.
cup of tea together, have a cup of tea together,
Yeah,
have crack some jokes,
I wish
and
to.
during that easy and comfortable atmosphere, discuss the harsh reality as well. One day there will be a path. One day there will be a path forward.
So, yeah, when you come to Israel, I will be the one to host you, and yes, and then we will toast with the cups.
Toast a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I'm really very excited with the idea of visiting Israel. It is There is a lot of uh, things to do in Israel. There are so many holy sites in Israel. There is my community, my Sufi community is there.
Yeah.
Uh,
There are also Sufi
uh,
shrines in Israel.
yeah, and there are so many friends like you, Dr. Nancy, and many others. There are so many scholars whom I love to meet. Dr. Yohanan is there. There are so many institutions and universities and colleges I would love to visit. And I guess one day, surely I'm going to visit Israel. And one day you are surely visiting Pakistan and talking
Inshallah.
to our students here, having circles of, having meetings with our intellectuals here, talking to our press and media here. And I guess we will see that day. We will see that day. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I'm optimistic. We just have to stick to the way, think positive, and it will happen. Yes,
Yeah.
it's so.
And last session of ours was about Al Qaeda. No, sorry, it was about Hamas and Hezbollah.
Mm,
Unfortunately, because of uh, some technical problem on my end with a disturbed internet connection,
it
electricity
happens.
failure. Yeah, it was. Sometime it happens. So we hope to reschedule it very soon.
Good. So I wish again to the Pakistani people a very happy and blessed month, Rabi al-Awwal, and also Mawlad al-Nabi, that your family will enjoy, bless, enjoy with the bless of Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and only prosperity and health.
Thank you. Thank you. Means a lot. And same prayers and best wishes and good wishes from Pakistan for you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.